Alright, yeah. This should infuriate a lot of people on both sides of things. SJW woke idiots getting owned. This should be jokes. This should be jokes. Because these people are nuts. They really are. Do you know what I mean? Like it's, yeah. So yeah, this should be funny. Let's go.
Hello everyone. Welcome to What Even Is This? Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Now let's
That's the channel,
laugh at some
What
batshit
Even Is
crazy
This?
people together.
They don't even know who funds them. Who funds you guys?
Just donations from the public.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Right. Do you know that Just Stop Oil has taken massive donations from, well, oil dynasties such as Jean-Paul Getty? Did you know that? Sorry?
No, it's massive.
No, it has. Do you want me to show you?
No, we're not.
You are. I've just told you. You're funded by the Climate Emergency Fund in LA, of which the majority of them are heirs to oil dynasties, including Jean-Paul Getty.
I'll have a sensible debate about climate science and the climate crisis and the just energy transition, but there's no point if you're just going to throw mud that doesn't make any sense.
I'm telling you facts. How's that mud? Look, this is your favourite newspaper, The Guardian. Just Stop Oil's spring uprising protest funded by US philanthropists. LA-based Climate Emergency Fund donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to activists. They include Jean-Paul Getty, whose oil dynasty made him a multi-billionaire.
I'm an 8-year military veteran. I'm a college student. I'm a black woman. And I believe that white privilege fucking exists.
You served in the military. You've made good choices. You're getting rewarded for them. You're going to live in the American middle class. What privilege do I have that you don't have that is based on skin color, not on wealth or socioeconomic status? Name one thing that you can't do that I can do.
I don't know. I can't make a whole fucking dollar.
What? You can't? Why?
Oh my God. There's so many different ways they sell you oppression, and she has purchased all of them today. So right now we are on sexism, right? So she's saying that I can't make a full dollar. Yes, you can.
What frustrates me is you served our country, which deserves to be applauded. And you have lived a life of a victor, and you have the gumption to tell me you're a victim without evidence. You were not able to cite one thing that you cannot do that I can do.
So you're actually the reason why people like us can't do well, because they've sold you our oppression and you bought it. Blacks were doing better under the Jim Crow era.
If you acknowledge the oppression of other people, we can heal from it.
No, we
but
can't.
If you want to ignore it, we won't have anything happen.
That's not how this works. Dialogue and acknowledging things doesn't make us suddenly rich.
Hi guys, so
Yeah, see, that's the thing. These people have like catchphrases that they've learnt, but there's not really a great deal behind it. And to be honest, I can't even believe that they are motivated by good, these people. I just think like the people that are protesting, gluing themselves to the road, that's just because it's under the banner that they're doing something good for the environment, but it's like, well, actually you're not. You just seen that big long line of traffic that's just piled up, that's just sitting now, pumping out fumes. All them people would have been gone. You probably cause more, and it's like you just want to disrupt people's lives, and it's an arrogance. And they don't want to debate. Like you saw that girl, as soon as they don't have their opinion vindicated, they just walk away and think it's a mic drop moment, when it's like, no, you're walking away because you can't debate. I could make an actual debate for I bet I could make a proper debate for everything they say. Do you know what I mean? I bet I could make a debate.
having some aneurysms over here. When does a baby stop being a parasite, like she said? I know you were listening to the conversation. When does a baby stop being a parasite and then turns into a baby that's worth protecting?
Ask her. She's a biology major.
Oh, so am I. Okay, perfect.
I would say probably when the child is actually fully born. Modern medicine has been able to, we can give birth to children who are, premature, and modern medicine has been able to keep them alive, but naturally, they are not able to stay alive without that mother until their first breath.
Okay, so as a biology major, which I graduated with a biology degree, would you agree with the notion that an unborn baby is a parasite?
Yes, it's a parasitic.
What class are you taking that's telling you that?
Literally pathophysiology.
Is telling you that a baby is a parasite.
It acts as a parasitic animal.
It doesn't. Do you know the definition of a parasite?
Yes, explain it to me.
What is the definition of a parasite?
A parasite is something that lives inside of a host that has to feed off of that host.
And kills it. It's not a symbiotic relationship.
Not necessarily.
Yes, that's the definition of a parasite. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It lives off of the host. It's a parasite. It kills the host.
Thank you.
So you guys think that the baby is killing the mother?
It does in some cases, yes.
Okay, so at what point, so you think it has to pass through the birth canal and take the first breath to not be considered a parasite?
Yes, because at that point it no longer needs the mother.
Hi, I'm wondering, there
are... See that, again, they've got the wrong argument. We did a video of, it was something like one of the creepy TikToks or something like that, where they had this like real, like, the argument for having legal abortion isn't, it isn't because it's the woman's body, because it's not the woman's body that gets killed, it's the baby's. It isn't that it's a parasite, it isn't that it's not a baby till it's born. It's like, that's not a good argument for any of it. It's not a good argument. What would be a good argument is that if you make abortions illegal and like certain types of women are going to have abortions, like women are going to get abortions whether it's legal or illegal because they just are. The argument is not that it's a parasite or anything like that. It's that if you make it illegal, it makes the thing so much more dangerous. Just like it does with anything. If you make anything illegal, it makes everything more dangerous because it becomes black market. Do you know what I mean? And you'll just have like young girls scared to tell their parents she's pregnant, wants to get an abortion, and has to go in the back seat of some creepy man's car. Do you know what I mean? And then she's never seen again. It's the argument is that it's gonna happen. Legally is the only way you can ensure that it's actually safe. Do you know what I mean? Not that the baby's a parasite or everything they just said is just ridiculous. Do you know what I mean?
dozens of words for two-spirited people, people that would now be considered LGBTQ or trans people in the native languages. So I'd like to know how, as these people have existed for thousands of years before you were alive or anyone else in this room was alive, and before anyone even colonized America, if trans people were around then, I'm just wondering why you think it is that...
It's not, because you don't have to go back thousands of years to meet them people. We have tribal people and people that live in tribes and live... Go and tell a tribal person who's hunting, living in the jungle still, go and tell them about transgenderism. They are gonna just look at you like you are an idiot. Do you know what I mean? Like nah, that's not true what she just said. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to go back 1,000 years. You can find tribal people. Like, they don't think there's transgenders. It's pretty simple what a boy and a girl is. Do you know what I mean?
People are only here now because the media is telling people these things.
Well, do you think it's weird that I graduated with 0 trans people? Do you think what do you think has contributed to the explosion of transgender people from the time that I was in high school? I'll ask you a question back. If this was just a natural thing, and I don't know what you're talking about with two-spirit people, is this like a Native American tribe, like high, smoking, and talking about your spirit?
Yeah, but that's a different thing as well. To have two spirits, you're now attaching, like you could, yeah, ancient people might think that if someone's like really fierce and strong and a great leader and a great person in their tribe, then maybe you'd say that they're two-spirited. But they don't think they're transgender or LGBT, do you know what I mean? They know exactly what the fuck they are. They're men or women. But they, yeah, I can see what, like, yeah, that they could think that people have two spirits or bad spirits or whatever. But they don't think in transgender or LGBT because that is literally something that's been invented by the media and by these loopy people. Do you know what I mean? It's like when people say, how much Queen do we react to? And it's when people say that Freddie Mercury's LGBTQ plus. It's like, well, if it didn't even exist when Freddie Mercury was about, he was just, do you know what I mean? Freddie Mercury was just out there getting stuck in. Not, do you know what I mean? He wasn't LGBTQ or whatever.
Seriously, because when I think of Native American tribes talking about their spirits, I know that they used to smoke a lot, they used to do drugs, they also were cannibals who used to eat people, so I don't know if we should be taking our cues from cannibals. But
I think
can you
that's
explain
kind
to me
of
what
ridiculous.
two-spirit is in the history?
There are people that would now be considered trans people that did not feel that
No.
they
What part?
Because I said it in a video the other day about Elvis, because Elvis was a twin, his twin died, and I said that in a thing that you could kind of imagine that Elvis, do you know what I mean? I said he was doubly good looking, doubly good singer, double, do you know what I mean? Double work ethic when it come to what he did. Doubly famous, that you could say Elvis had two spirits, like, but in no way did I say that that makes, that is not the definition of a transgender. Do you know what I mean? The definition of a transgender is someone that doesn't feel they are the sex that they are. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what it is. Not someone with two spirits. Someone with two spirits would not be transgender. That's not what it is. Because also, transgender people don't think they are male and female. If it's a male transgender that thinks it's a female, they think they're a female. They don't think they're two spirits, male and female, which, to be honest, everybody is. Everybody has male and female traits. Do you know what I mean? Like, ridiculous. But yeah, let's go.
Native Americans, I'm asking you.
Yes, I'm telling you that not only in one Native American tribe, but in multiple tribes, there were dozens of terms that referred to people that would now be considered trans, and that was hundreds of years ago. So I'm just wondering.
But it's not, because you're applying today's thinking to something they said, and that's not what they're talking about. Someone that's two-spirited, yeah, or it could be that, like, that could be for someone who, like, now you'd more be right if you said that it's schizophrenic or bipolar or manic depressive. Do you know what I mean? Like, you could see how tribal people that one day one person's some like one thing and then the next they're not, like schizophrenic, or bipolar where 1 minute they're low, 1 minute they're high, like manic depression when they're low and high. You could see that ancient people could see that as two spirits. You're more likely to get mental health as someone with two spirits, like things like that, like schizophrenic, paranoid schizophrenic, or something like that. Because I'm guaranteed that them things happened back then. They just didn't know what it was, and you could imagine, like, that's what I think. You're like, she's applying, oh, they mean trans in today's, but I don't think they do. I think that's a proper grasp at straws argument. Like, I would say there's more of an argument, and it makes more logical sense that two-spirited ancient people would be mental illness. Do you know what I mean? Mental health.
Why you think that people are only trans now because the media is telling them to be?
Well, I told you, because of the proliferation. So you can't just go from having 0% to suddenly 25%
Right, but what
of
I'm
people.
saying is that these people were around for thousands of years.
Well, what you're saying is that some Native American tribes had people that would be considered trans today, something that we can't.
And also, yeah, here's a thing that you can say with the trans thing, that if you take the Spartans from the 300, yeah, and the type of, do you know what I mean? 300 men stood against an army of 1,000,000. Don't reckon it probably was 1,000,000, but that's what they say in the film. It was 1,000,000 people. This army and these warriors, these men were the toughest of the best warriors of the hardest. Do you know what I mean? Like, take that same group of people and you fast forward it 200 years and it's pretty much in the same thing. Like, if you look at the Roman statues from back in the day, they're warriors, big, strong, masculine men. And then if you look at them just before the fall of Rome and that part of the world, the statues do become more feminine, like the male statues become more feminine. And it does happen in civilizations because that is the point in a society where the society no longer knows itself, to the point where they don't even know what male and female is no more. And it doesn't have, there's no thing. And there are civilized, like I say, like Rome, there are civilizations, great civilizations that did have this kind of like extreme gay, extreme blending of genders and making men girls, but that always comes just before that civilization collapses. The story goes, hard times makes hard men make soft times make soft men make hard times. That's pretty much what it is, right? And yeah, that's like, you can see that just go over, that same thing repeats throughout history. When the men of a civilization start become soft and feminine, it doesn't take long before they don't exist no more, right?
Check because they're dead,
It's
right?
historical knowledge.
It's historical
documented.
knowledge that there were trans Native Americans.
Yes.
I really don't think that's historical
Oh.
knowledge. But here's what
look
I'll
it up
answer.
then.
I don't think that there were
Well, I'm telling
trans
you that
Native
there
Americans.
were. So if you could educate yourself a little more, you would know that.
Okay.
As well.
I will educate myself.
I don't believe in big government, right? I believe
You don't?
no government.
No government.
Little to
So
no
you're an
government.
anarchist.
Yes. I believe in voluntary hierarchy and democracy.
What's preventing you from doing what the Amish do? Get off the grid and just go live like that right now.
Well, the Amish are religiously excluded.
No, forget the religious
Okay,
component.
well,
but
because
the Amish are a great
It's
example.
incredibly difficult to just pick up everything that you have, leave, and go into.
So you want to tell me how to live?
What I'm saying is that there are people that are literally starving, and then if you had extra houses and they literally just came and occupied the houses that you are not using, they are justified because you are being a massive asshole.
If someone forcefully takes away something that is sedentary, not being used in that purpose, it is a rightful means of theft.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So you don't believe in private property rights?
No, I do not.
You don't believe in private property rights, so we're getting somewhere. So you're not a libertarian, my friend. Libertarians believe...
I'm not a libertarian in the
Yeah,
American...
don't
I'm not a
believe-
libertarian in the capitalist sense.
That's socialism and communism, that you have no like private property. It all belongs to the government. That's how these things work. People think, nah, it's not, it's all fair. Nah, it's not. Everybody has equally nothing in the socialism and communist things. Yeah, everybody has equal nothing. Like, going on, like, it amazes me that the only people that want socialism and communism are people that have lived under capitalism their whole life. Nobody coming. Jorge Masvidal, a fighter, go look up the interview where he says that like people wear Che Guevara on their t-shirts. He's like Colin Kaepernick did it, and he's like, and everybody applauds him, and Che Guevara, Jorge Masvidal was from that country. He's like, do you know that Che Guevara had the wall of his office removed so he could watch the firing squads shooting people? He's like, my family, my friends, like friends of my family, were disappeared by that regime, and people wear him on the t-shirts like he's a good person, and he's not. Like go watch it. Anybody that's ever, and that you'll see people that have actually lived under socialism and communism, they will tell you, if you think we should be that, it should be like that over here, then just go and live in one of them countries. Just go and live for a month. And that, like, people that come from them countries will tell you, you won't like it. It's not, it doesn't work out how you think it does. Do you know what I mean? And people go, yeah, but if I was in control, I'd do it properly. And it's like, yeah, you think that. But power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. It is true. And yeah, that's what communism is. You're giving the whole power to the government. They own everything. And it starts with socialism, where certain people can have private property. But then slowly that gets taken from the government. And once you're in that situation, then you're fucked. Do you know what I mean?
Libertarian in the American sense.
So stop using the word, because you're anything but it.
I am. He's the CEO of the Weather Channel now. I was the founder of the Weather Channel, not the co-founder.
And I'm glad you did, because I am addicted to the Weather Channel. I watch a lot of cable news.
Now, hold on just a minute. I'm not done. And CNN has taken a very strong position on global warming that it is a consensus. Well, there is no consensus in science. Science isn't a vote. Science is about facts. And if you get down to the hard, cold facts, there's no question about it. Climate change is not happening. There is no significant man-made global warming now. There hasn't been any in the past, and there's no reason to expect any in the future. There's a whole lot.
Yeah, even that's changed. When first you added the ozone layer, there's a hole in the ozone layer. You don't hear about that anymore. Eminem's even got a lyric. I'm not a player, just the ill rhyme sayer that spray an aerosol can up at the ozone layer. Like, that's an Eminem lyric. No one talks about the ozone anymore. Then it was global warming until we had record cold winters. So they couldn't call it global warming because it's freezing. And so now it's called climate change. And then no one will talk about climate change. They'll just change the word and scare everybody with something else. Like, I really don't think humans, like... It's the same as I was talking to someone about it, and they said, well, actually, cows are the biggest polluters. And I was like, so what are you saying? That we should just go around killing all the cows? And they was like, yeah. It's like... How evil are you? Do you know what I mean? Like, what are you going to do? How are you going to do that? Do you know how many cows there are in this country? And you're going to go around and shoot them all. That's evil. And then you're trying to act like that's so good. And it's like, and also cows have been around for years. Yeah, I agree with him. I think climate change is a whole load of bullshit. And there's other things that's more likely. We have a planet, right? I don't know if it's a planet or something that's just in orbit, something big that's in orbit. And pretty soon that's going to enter our magnetic thing. It's going to come close to Earth in like 2052 or something. The closest it has like 2021. It come well close to our country, to our planet. And it doesn't even have to hit us to have an effect. All it has to do is get within our atmosphere, and that will be it. It will just blow our world. Like, it will just do, like, literally, it will fuck us up. Do you know what I mean? No one even knows about that. No one even knows that that's like happening. That there's some giant object flying, like a giant rock or whatever, flying through space, that just every now and then does its orbit and comes a little bit closer. Just a little bit closer. But, like, no one knows. You don't hear anything about that. But, yeah, you get idiots gluing themselves to the road. Yeah. It's, yeah. That's what I mean. I can't buy it that these people... These woke people, I used to think, oh, at least their heart's in the right place. I don't even think it is anymore. It's just a power and basically it's kind of Nazi. Like like it's you think how we think, and if you don't, then we will destroy you. It's like, all right, calm down. Do you know what I mean? Like, can't we just throw a couple of maybes in every now and then?
Baloney, and yes, it has become a big political point of the Democratic Party and part of their platform, and I regret it's become political instead of scientific, but the science is on my side.
I don't think we're going to come to a conclusion about the topic right here. What I do wonder,
I know
though, is
we're
when
not,
you
because
see
you wouldn't allow it to happen on CNN. But I'm happy that I got on the air and got a chance to talk to your viewers. Hello, everybody. There is no global warming.
What I do wonder is when you see the government, when you see NASA, when you see other institutions say that 97% of climate scientists agree, do you think they're making it up? What I don't understand is how you square that.
That's a manipulated figure, and let me explain it to you. The government puts out about $2.5 billion directly for climate research every year. It only gives that money to scientists who will produce scientific results that support the global warming hypothesis of the Democrat Party position. So they don't have any choice. If you're going to get the money, you got to support their position. Therefore, 97% of the scientific reports published support global warming. Why? Because those are the ones the government pays for, and that's where the money is. It's real simple. But that doesn't mean it's right. That doesn't make it true. That only makes it bought and paid for. The money goes in circles.
I'm not a scientist, so I'm not going to try to refute you on the facts.
That's the truth.
I'll simply say that the vast majority...
Please stand back from this issue and let the two sides be on the air.
Good point.
But if they didn't commit the crime, they wouldn't have to deal with any of that.
Well, sometimes a lot of them don't commit the crimes.
No.
Which is interesting. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You were raised by your father and mother?
I was.
And so you had a better chance at life growing up because you had two parents who provided for you.
I did, yeah.
But isn't that the right and the best way to go rather than all this other stuff?
I don't necessarily agree. People can still be just as successful. I definitely do think I was more privileged to have both parents in the home.
So you're white privileged then?
Not necessarily.
You just like the white woman.
Not,
you had
not
everything.
At all. Not
What's
at
the difference?
all.
The white girl next to you had a father and mother in the private school, right? And she's white privileged. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
So you're a black girl with a father and mother in the same classroom, sitting right next to the white girl with the privilege. So you had it too.
So what we mean when we say white privilege is not necessarily about what resources they have, but it's also a generational connection. And also a physical connection.
It's like, well, if going out on a date with a guy makes...
What? This is what I mean. They're changing the meaning of the word. Privilege means privilege. It is exactly about resources and, do you know what I mean? It's not a historical connection and a physical thing. No, like we know what privilege means. Do you know what I mean? We're like, in our country, we have it sorted out. There's working class, and then there's the upper class. And I can tell black, white, Chinese, Indian, doesn't matter. I can tell whether you're working class or you're upper class. And the chances that I am going to prefer to talk to the working class, no matter what it is, Indian, Pakistan, China, I know how they're going to talk. If they're from up north, they're going to have a northern accent. If they're from down here, they're going to have a London accent. Do you know what I mean? If I was to walk into a bar, and there was a posh white person there and a black working class person there, instantly I'm going to feel more connected to him. Because he's going to turn around and go, oh, bloody rugby. Do you know what I mean? Whereas you've got more chance of him going, all right, bruv. And then it's like, I know that person. Do you know what I mean? I don't know this person. I don't like this person. As soon as I hear that voice, it makes me not like the person, which is a ridiculous thing to say, but it's true. Do you know what I mean? Like, privilege is not something that's racially based, because also I can meet a black person who's upper class and they're exactly the same as the white upper class person. They will look down on me because I say how I talk. Do you know what I mean? I've literally had people mimic how I talk, like posh people go, oh, do you know what I mean? Like, oh, little chimney sweep, right? And I've had black people do that. I've had Chinese, do you know what I mean? that it doesn't matter. It's your class. It's where you are. Yeah, especially in our country. Our country's a little bit more. If you're working class, you're working class. Don't matter if you make money or not. Like if I made money, I wouldn't be accepted with posh people still, because they're not like me. I don't get on with posh people. I don't have nothing in common with them. We're from two different worlds. But yeah, anybody working class I can talk to, because chances are I know them. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's nonsense.
A slut, then that's just what I'm gonna be.
I don't think going out on a date make you a slut, but having sex with different men makes you a slut.
Well, what does it make you if you have sex with different women?
A slut maker.
Please like and subscribe. Thank you.
But again, that's another thing. It's a double standard. One of the few double standards that goes in men's favour. But there is a reason for it. There's a reason why a girl that sleeps with a lot of men is a slut, and why a boy who sleeps with a lot of girls is a stud. Because it's hard for a boy, no matter what you look like. I mean, you have to be like the most stunning boy to just have girls throw themselves at you. It don't work like that for boys. You need to have like some type of game, some type of something. As a woman, you just need to be there. Do you know what I mean? Any woman, I don't care what you look like, can walk into a bar, and it might not be the person you most desire in that bar, but you'll get something. Men, it just doesn't work like that. It just doesn't. I think, who was it that said that there's a thing where they did like a social experiment? They got a hot guy to go in a pub and ask the girls, like basically to just walk up to the girls and say, do you want to come home and fuck right now? And none of them said yeah. And then they got a hot girl to go in and to the men and say it. All of them said yeah. It's like it's a completely different beast that you're dealing with. So there is a difference. There is a difference. It's hard for a man to be a stud. It doesn't make it right, but there is a difference. Like, there is a difference. And it's just a double standard. But there's plenty of double standards that work in women's favour. Like, if a girl was to beat me, like if a girl I was going out with beat me up, no one's really going to think anything about that. Do you know what I mean? But if I was to do it to her, I'm a woman beater. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's loads of double standards that work either way. But yeah, I do actually agree with that. I do agree that a girl, because it's just easier for a girl. You just have to be there, and you'll find someone who will fuck you. Do you know what I mean? Men are animals. But yeah, anyway, that's the reaction. Sweet.